What is up, guys? Delboy here. Now, according to BoxRec, Tyrone is going to be fighting Jack Catterall on the 15th of July in Leeds at the First Direct Arena. This is according to BoxRec. It's official on BoxRec, but I've not heard any official announcement yet. But we'll speak about the fight anyway, because I think it's a really intriguing fight. These are the type of fights that I wanted to see Frank Warren put on when he got his BT deal. The quality of Frank's cards in terms of star quality and world level boxing is not the same as Matchroom, let's be honest, but I felt the first card in Manchester in BT was a bit bland, but I really enjoyed the Leicester card. You know, you had guys like Jermaine Smile on that card versus Darryl Williams, Tommy Langford versus Kurt Seedies. That was a really good card, a really fun card. And I think Frank, that's how he needs to start. He needs to start with those sort of fun domestic cards while building those youngsters he has up, like Daniel Dubois, Anthony Yard. And that's how he needs to go about it. But these are the type of fights he needs to make. You know, Catterall versus Tyrone Nurse. I think it's a really good fight. Obviously, I think this fight is ideal for both guys at the stages of their careers. You know, Jack Catterall, to me, when he first came along, I really rated him. I liked his footwork. I liked his jab. He's quite a decent boxer coming out of a southpaw stance, and he had some raw skills there, you know. And I felt he had a lot of potential. But in the last year or two, he's really started to tread water. He's been fighting sort of subpar opposition, you know, like South American guys who are tough but not really that good. And since his win against Thomas Stalker, he has sort of struggled to get opponents of any sort of calibre. And I think as a result, he's kind of stagnated a little bit and kind of just plodded along kind of thing, you know. Jack Catterall is only 23 though. He's had 18 fights. And he's moving along, you know. He's ranked in the WBO, I believe. So he's not in a bad position though, you know. He has been stagnant, but regardless, he's 23 years old. You know, he's in a decent position as far as I'm concerned. Tyrone Nurse, to me, is a guy who a lot of people really rate Tyrone Nurse, especially people in the trade. A lot of people are really high on Tyrone Nurse, and to me, he's one of those guys who really fights down to the level of his opposition. I don't think this guy is ever going to be a world champion or anything. He could probably get to European level, but I think that's his limit. But Tyrone Nurse, to me, there is glimpses of real quality, you know, particularly sort of defensively, and then he'll have a 30-second spell of being really sort of slick and evasive, then all of a sudden he's getting hit and getting pushed back, things like that. He's a really inconsistent fighter, but there is some skills there, you know, and he really does blow hot and cold. I recall when he fought Dave Ryan back in like 2014, he made a real pig zero of that and lost that fight. He got dropped a couple of times in that fight. But he then sort of came back. He got a win over Chris Jenkins where he looked quite good. And he also beat Willie Lamond from Scotland, who he looked really good in that fight. But his last couple of fights against Tommy Coyle and Joe Hughes, he just about beat Tommy Coyle, but he got dropped. And against Joe Hughes, it was a draw. I felt he did beat Joe Hughes, but it was still a really close fight. And the reality is, if Tyrone Nurse is as good as people say he is, he needs to be beating the likes of Joe Hughes and Tommy Coyle comfortably, but he's not been doing that. And coincidentally, Jack Catterall actually fought Joe Hughes, and he comprehensively beat him. So they've got one common opponent, and Catterall done the better job. So again, I think this fight is ideal for Tyrone Nurse. He needs that step up. He needs that big fight, and I think this is probably the biggest fight of his career so far, I'd say. You know, he's got an unbeaten guy in Jack Catterall ahead of him, who's highly ranked in the WBO. So winning this fight, you know, will propel Tyrone Nurse in the rankings. So both guys have a lot on the line here. Both guys need this fight as far as I'm concerned. And it's an interesting style matchup. The difference between these two guys is Jack Catterall is consistent. He'll consistently throw that jab. He'll try and follow it up with that straight left hand down the pipe. He'll look for counters. While Jack Catterall doesn't exactly set the world on fire, his fundamentals are solid. I think he's got quite good footwork as well, especially when he on the front foot. He's got quite good footwork as far as I'm concerned. I think Catterall's got quite good defence. He's got good head movement and upper body movement. I think what Catterall, even when he sort of labours in points wins, he's always consistent. He doesn't really drop rounds to people he shouldn't do. Whereas Tyrone Nurse, he does drop rounds against guys he should be beating comfortably. So to me, Catterall is the more consistent fighter. I think just the pure fundamentals, like the jab and the punch technique, goes with Jack Catterall. I think Jack Catterall hits harder. He's fresher. He's not been in as many hard fights. Tyrone Nurse has that unpredictability about him where he can look quite good, but again, like I said, he could be quite average. So I'm feeling a Jack Catterall points win here. I think both guys are really going to come out with their A games though, because both guys need to, you know. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. I think this is a really good fight. I'm leaning towards Jack Catterall. I do rate Jack Catterall. I've never been as high on Tyrone Nurse as some people are, but I do see there's talent there. I can see somebody like Tyrone Nurse being a really good sparring partner, and maybe in the gym he looks really good, but on fight night he never quite, he never has that standout performance. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those fighters. But I like the fight. I think it's a really intriguing matchup of styles, and we'll see. First of all, let's hope it's official. And if it is official, out of interest, who are you guys going to pick? Are you guys like me and favouring the more consistent Jack Catterall? Or are you going to go for the enigma in Tyrone Nurse? Tell me what you guys think. Peace.